Hello and welcome to SpeakFlow. In this series, we learn English by describing real-life situations and the things we can see around us. Today, we'll explore 4 different situations. Listen carefully, notice the details, and learn how to describe them naturally in English. So let's begin with situation number 1, a morning in the village. Take a look at this peaceful village scene. It is early in the morning, and the sun has just begun to rise above the horizon. The sky is gradually changing from a pale blue to a warm golden color. A thin layer of mist is hanging over the fields, making the surroundings look calm and slightly hazy. In the foreground, we can see a small village house with a simple courtyard in front of it. A woman is sweeping the courtyard with a traditional broom. She is moving the broom back and forth, gathering dust and small pieces of straw into a pile. This action is called sweeping. If we want to describe it naturally, we can say, "She is sweeping the courtyard." Nearby, a man is walking toward the fields. He is carrying a metal container in one hand, while a few chickens are moving around his feet. In the distance, several cows are standing near a wooden fence. A farmer appears to be taking care of them. We can say that the farmer is tending to his livestock. The word livestock refers to farm animals such as cows, goats, sheep, and buffaloes that are kept by people. There are green fields stretching behind the houses. Some trees stand along the edge of the fields, and a narrow dirt path runs between them. A few birds are flying across the morning sky. The whole scene feels quiet and peaceful. There are no crowded streets, no heavy traffic, and no loud city noises. Instead, we can imagine the sounds of birds, animals, and people beginning their daily routines. Look carefully at the houses. Smoke is rising slowly from one of the chimneys. This suggests that someone has already started preparing breakfast. We can describe this by saying, "Smoke is rising from the chimney." Notice the word chimney. A chimney is a vertical structure that allows smoke and gases to escape from a building, usually from a fireplace or stove. Now look at the farmer walking toward the fields. He is not walking quickly. He seems to be starting his normal morning routine. We could say, the farmer is making his way toward the fields. The expression "make your way" means to move or travel toward a particular place. So instead of simply saying, "He is going to the fields," we can say, "He is making his way toward the fields." This sounds more natural and descriptive. The village is slowly waking up. Some people are already working, while others are just beginning their day. This is one of the most useful things to remember when describing a picture. Don't just describe the objects. Describe what is happening. We can see houses, trees, animals, and fields. But we can also see people sweeping, walking, carrying things, and taking care of animals. When you describe a picture in English, try to answer 3 simple questions. What can I see? What are the people doing? And what does the place feel like? Here we can say that the village looks peaceful, quiet, rural, and lively in a gentle way. And that brings us to the end of our first situation. Now let's move to a completely different scene. Situation number 2, a road accident. Now take a look at the scene. The atmosphere is completely different. We are looking at a busy road where a road accident has just taken place. 2 vehicles are stopped in the middle of the road. One of them appears to have collided with the other. The front of one vehicle is badly damaged, while the other vehicle has a damaged side. The word collision is useful when describing an accident in which 2 vehicles or objects hit each other. Instead of saying only, "the cars hit each other," we can say, "There has been a collision between 2 vehicles." Several people have gathered around the scene. These people are called bystanders. A bystander is someone who happens to be present when an event takes place, but is not directly involved in it. Some bystanders are standing at a distance and watching what has happened. Others are moving closer to the vehicles. One person appears to be making a phone call. He may be calling the emergency services. Another person is speaking to someone inside one of the vehicles. The situation looks serious. If someone has been hurt in an accident, we can describe that person as injured. For example, an injured passenger is receiving help. Notice the difference between hurt and injured. Both words can describe physical pain, but injured is particularly useful when talking about someone who has suffered physical harm in an accident or other event. Now look at the road. There are pieces of broken glass scattered near the vehicles. One of the cars has stopped at an unusual angle, partly blocking the road. Because of this, other vehicles are slowing down. Some drivers are trying to understand what has happened. A traffic officer has arrived at the scene. The officer is directing traffic and asking people to move away from the damaged vehicles. We can say, the traffic officer is controlling the traffic. Or, the officer is directing vehicles around the accident. The word direct here means to control or guide the movement of people or vehicles. Notice how much more information we can communicate when we use specific verbs. Instead of saying, people are there, we can say, several bystanders have gathered around the damaged vehicles. Instead of, a man is there, we can say, a man is making an emergency phone call. Good picture description is not about using complicated English all the time. It is about choosing the right words. Now look at the expressions of the people. Some appear worried. Others look confused. One person is pointing toward the damaged vehicle. Another is standing beside the road and watching the scene. The road has become partially blocked, and traffic is beginning to build up behind the accident. And that gives us a natural connection to our next situation. Because when an accident blocks a busy road, something else can happen. A traffic jam. So let's move to situation number 3, a traffic jam. Now we are looking at a busy city road during a traffic jam. The road is packed with vehicles. Cars, buses, motorcycles, and other vehicles are standing extremely close to one another. In fact, some of them are almost bumper to bumper. The expression bumper to bumper is commonly used when vehicles are so close together that there is very little space between them. We can say, the cars are moving bumper to bumper. But at the moment, these vehicles are barely moving at all. The traffic is congested. The word congested means extremely crowded or blocked, especially when we are talking about roads and traffic. We could say, the main road is heavily congested. Look at the drivers. Some of them appear impatient. One driver is leaning forward and looking at the road. Another driver is checking the time. A third driver is repeatedly pressing the horn. We can say, several drivers are honking their horns. The verb honk means to make a loud sound with a vehicle's horn. In a traffic jam, drivers may honk because they are frustrated, impatient, or trying to get someone's attention. Now look ahead. There is a busy intersection where several roads meet. An intersection is a place where two or more roads cross or meet. A traffic officer is standing in the middle of the intersection and directing vehicles. Some pedestrians are waiting near the side of the road. One person is carefully trying to cross the street between the slow-moving vehicles. The sidewalks are also crowded. People are walking in different directions, carrying shopping bags and backpacks. The atmosphere is very different from the peaceful village we saw earlier. Here the environment is noisy, crowded, and stressful. We can describe the traffic as heavy. We can say, there is heavy traffic on the road. Or, the road is extremely congested. Another useful expression is stuck in traffic. If your vehicle cannot move because there are too many cars on the road, you can say, I've been stuck in traffic for 30 minutes. This is a very common expression in everyday English. Now notice something else. Some drivers are trying to change lanes. One car is slowly moving from one lane to another. The driver is waiting for a small gap before moving. We can say, the driver is trying to change lanes. A lane is one of the sections of a road used by a line of vehicles. For example, the bus is in the left lane. The traffic is slowly moving forward now. Some vehicles have started to move, but the road is still crowded. This kind of situation is extremely common in large cities. And when describing a traffic scene, remember to talk about the vehicles, the road, the people, the sound, and the movement. Don't simply say, there are many cars. Instead, say, the road is packed with cars, buses, and motorcycles, and the traffic is moving very slowly. That gives the listener a much clearer picture. Now let's move to our final situation. This time we are leaving the road and entering a completely different environment. Situation number 4, a construction site. Now take a look at this busy construction site. Several workers are working on a large building that is still under construction. The building is not finished yet. Some sections have exposed concrete, while other parts are surrounded by temporary metal structures. These structures are called scaffolding. Scaffolding is a temporary framework used by construction workers to reach different parts of a building while they are working. We can see several workers wearing helmets and safety equipment. One worker is carrying a heavy bag of construction material. Another worker is using a shovel to move sand. A third worker is standing near a large machine. There is a lot of activity happening at the site. In the background, we can see a large crane. A crane is a machine with a long arm that is used to lift and move heavy objects. The crane is lifting a large piece of material toward the upper part of the building. We can say, the crane is lifting heavy construction materials. Nearby, another machine is digging into the ground. This machine is called an excavator. An excavator is a large construction machine used for digging and moving earth. The excavator is removing soil from a deep section of the site. Several piles of sand and gravel can be seen nearby. There are also wooden boards, metal pipes, bricks, and other construction materials scattered around the area. The workers are moving carefully because a construction site can be dangerous. Safety is extremely important. We can see warning signs around the site. Some workers are wearing protective helmets. Others are wearing reflective safety vests so that they can easily be seen. One worker is carrying a long metal pipe across the site. Another worker is helping him. We can describe this by saying, two workers are carrying a long metal pipe together. Notice that we're not simply naming objects. We're describing actions and relationships. We can see a crane, but we can say, a crane is lifting a heavy load. We can see an excavator, but we can say, an excavator is digging into the ground. We can see workers, But we can say, several workers are carrying construction materials and working on the unfinished building. This is what makes a picture description more natural and informative. Now look at the building itself. It is clearly under construction. This expression means that the building is currently being built or renovated and is not yet complete. We can say, the building is still under construction. This is a very useful expression in everyday English. The workers continue moving around the site. Machines are operating. Materials are being lifted. And the unfinished building is slowly taking shape. It is a busy, noisy, and active environment. So today we described 4 completely different situations. First, we visited a peaceful village in the early morning. Then we described a road accident. After that, we looked at a crowded traffic jam. And finally, we explored a busy construction site. Notice how different the vocabulary was in each situation. In the village, we used words such as mist, livestock, chimney, and courtyard. At the accident scene, we learned words such as collision, injured, bystander, and damaged. For the traffic jam, we used expressions like bumper to bumper, congested, honk, intersection, and stuck in traffic. And at the construction site, we learned words such as scaffolding, crane, excavator, and under construction. The next time you see a picture, don't simply name what you see. Don't say, there is a man. Try, a farmer is making his way toward the fields. Don't say, there are many cars. Try, the road is heavily congested and the vehicles are moving bumper to bumper. And don't just say, there are workers. Try, several construction workers are carrying heavy materials while a crane lifts a load above them. The goal is not to use difficult English. The goal is to make your English clearer, richer, and more precise. Keep looking, keep describing, and keep learning English with SpeakFlow. Thanks for watching.